5 years old. And I didn't even like dolls. So, but I do now. Anyway, so I kind of progressed through different types of media, but I've always been creating something. I wrote songs for a long time. I did a lot of poetry. I just like to create things. But anyway, so today I'm gonna probably be doing a lot of things that seem crazy to you, but I tend to paint in layers. So I'm gonna show you how I start. I have some different stages that I can show you, and then I'll work on one where I can show you how I extract the figure and show you how it comes out. But before I do that, I wanted to give and like I said before, some of this may show through to the final layer, or I may cover it all up. You can use different things to do this. I use my fingers a lot, but you could use like a palette knife to, scrape to get the bubbles out. So whatever you feel like works. You can use an old credit card, anything you want. So.
Are you thinking of a design?
No.
Okay.
At this point, I'm just throwing things down, just to have some kind of base to go with.
Do you ever use fabric in the base?
I haven't. I know some people that work with stitching in their paintings, and it's really cool. I haven't tried it yet, but someday, one of these days, I'm going to try it. I guess you could use fabric in your collage. I don't see why you couldn't. So that's all I'm going to do for collage right now, and then it's got to dry. And so I'm going to blow it dry a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfectly dry, but I tend to do a lot of scratching and scribbling in my work, so I want to make sure that it's fairly dry, so if I scratch over it, I'm not going to pull it off. Another thing I don't do is I don't tape my paper down because I like to turn it. As I said, I don't have a plan of what this is going to be yet, so I like to be able to see it from all different angles, and so I just keep it loose. It does get a little buckly sometimes, but once it's done, you can always flatten it out.
What kind of paper?
Oh, good question. I love the Strathmore mixed media Strathmore mixed media. It's 400 series is the one I like. They make a 300 series, which is thinner, and it doesn't hold up to all the stuff I do. I kind of, this really takes a lot of scratching and scribbling, and they also make a 500 series, which is actually thick, and it's made for stuff like this, but I tried it and I really don't like it. So this is my favorite. You can buy this in different sizes. I can buy it in a big roll. So if you use it a lot, it's there. I also use these type of things. So this is mixed media paper. But I use this to offload my extra paint, and then it becomes my art journal. And I'll show you that in a bit. So right now we've got this just randomly collaged piece. And I'm going to take some water-soluble crayons here and just start putting some more color down. And like I said, don't think too much about it. Just, you know, it's more, to me, it's more of a meditation. I mean, I'm just kind of not even thinking about what I'm doing. I'm just kind of processing my day when I'm doing this, really. I use it to just get rid of stress, I guess. I can also use some acrylic ink on this. And I'm almost out of that one. I like bright colors, as you can probably tell. And so I'm just gonna see what happens. So a lot of my art is really basically just, let me see what happens if I do this. And this is called a color shaper, by the way. It's a rubber spatula. And I use it for everything. I love this stuff. At this point, too, you could spray some water on it. I don't have a sprayer, but I'm just going to throw some water and just let it run. And regular copy paper, I'm just going to blot it. And then this becomes collage paper for later. Or another painting. And then I can also just take this and blot it on my journal. And I'm just going to blow this dry a little bit more. So you can see that, you know, there's really nothing. I mean, what is it, right? Can you see anything in there? Can you see an animal or a shape of any kind?
I see a tennis shoe.
You see a what?
Tennis shoe.
A tennis shoe?
Yeah.
I have not done tennis shoes before.
Yeah, it looks like a shoe, doesn't it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Show me. Oh, is it like,
White tennis shoe, and that's
it's upside down to me?
the rule. Yeah.
No, we see the same
We see the same, but the blue is the
Oh, you do?
sole. The blue.
Oh, yeah,
the
I
blue
get
could
it.
be the sole, or it could be the edge of the bottom of the shoe.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I paint. And
Yeah,
I,
rather like that
you know,
tennis
I
shoe.
just keep layering and layering and layering until I get to a point where I can really see something that I want to work with.
Yeah.
And so
Looks like
that,
a cat to me, because that
Yeah.
looks like a tail wrapped around.
okay, yep, I can see that. So we could do that, you know, we could make it into something right now if we wanted to. But from what from my experience, I like to have more of a base first. And I'll show you what I mean. So this is one that I've been working on for a long time. Long time meaning probably a couple months. Every time I paint, I'm just kind of throwing something else on this one. So it can be off to the side while I'm painting something else. And if I've got leftover paint, I'll just throw it on there. So I can kind of see some things that I may want to do with this one, but it's not quite there yet for me. So I'm going to just add a little more paint to this. I don't want to do a whole lot because I love the brightness of this one. But right here I've got some, I think it's a water-soluble crayon there, and I'm just going to see if I can move it a little. Yeah. So I'm just going to kind of move it around and blot it. Because I don't want it to get muddy, but I did want to move that green. And I kind of started drawing a bird head in that one, but I'm not going with that. Not for sure. And so then I'm going to, I use mainly liquid, golden fluid, or golden liquid acrylic, fluid acrylic. And I tend to not use a palette. I just kind of dump it on and see what happens. So I'm just using this color shaper to kind of spread it around a little bit. When I add a color, I like to add it in a few different places. And then when this paint is wet here, you can kind of score into it.
Lynette, where did you get that color spreader?
The color shaper? You can buy these at Blick, I believe. I think I bought mine on Amazon. There's different brands of them, and I don't know which is best. I think you can even get them at Hobby Lobby, probably. Another thing you can do when the paint is wet is just scribble into it. So we're just building up more interest and more layers. If let's just say I scribble somewhere and I really like that, and I don't want, since this is water soluble, if I put anything on top of it, it'll move. If I wanted to just seal that there so it doesn't go away, I can use some matte gel and just scrape a little on there. So just put a thin layer of it, and when it dries, it won't move. Or you could even use your finger. What I really like this for is I use this, it's a Stabilo Mark All pencil. You can buy this at Blick. You can draw into wet with this. You can draw into dry, and I love it because I'll show you in a second. So I can draw with this, and right now it just looks like a pencil line, right? So, but if I use some of this on top, and then I just scrape it down. See how dark it gets? See that? It's like magic to me. I love doing that, and because now it's not going to move. It's going to be it's just going to be part of my painting, and I can cover it up if I want to, or not. So then we've got this kind of muddy matte medium, or matte gel, and I like to just spread that in my journal, and I can use it at a later date for when I'm working in my journal. This journal has like all kinds of things in it, and this is just my own journal. This is how I just play in this thing. So, it's really a great idea to have one. If you're just starting out painting, just buy yourself one of these and start playing around in it. It doesn't matter what you do in it, because nobody will ever see it unless you do something like this and show it off. But I do. So I have spread, like I just did here. I had spread some of this matte gel in here and kind of drew in some birds here. So it just becomes something else. It's just.
If you hold it down on the table like you're looking at it, it's easier for us to see.
Here we go.
Thank you.
So can you see that? So this was just some matte gel that was dirty from me doing this. I spread it on here, later went back and I drew some birds in it. And they made me happy, so that's what we're going for, right? Okay. So, I think what I'll do now is show you another stage. So this one still needs some work. No, actually, let's work on this one. We'll work on this one a little bit more. I'll throw some paint on it. I usually grab whatever color just calls to me. And I will And again, it's the brightness. I like the brightness. This is one of my favorite tools. This is a little, I think it's aluminum, and I think it's made for if you're working with clay, but it works really, really good for scraping. And I like to scrape a lot. See how you can get a different texture when you do that? You just pull up some of the paint, and you're getting the texture underneath there from the glue, actually. The glue that I had on there. And so then that does become another interesting part of your painting. I don't always use the same brand of paint. If I like a color, if I see a color that I like, I just get it. I don't generally mix colors. You can use your fingers, you can, there's no rules with this type of painting. It's just what feels good to you, right? And if it turns out to be nothing, then you just paint over it. Another tool I like is a little stylus. And this is just a little metal end. And you can scratch and draw into things. One more thing I forgot I was going to show you. This is spray ink. And this is just plastic from a bag of avocados or something. And I use this for just getting some more texture. Probably doesn't work very well on this, but I didn't hold it down enough. Anyway, you may not be able to see that, but it's very subtle. But you can get the splatters and just wipe my hands on paper. Anybody have any questions while I'm fumbling around up here?
When do you start to finalize it? When do you start going in and saying?
It takes a while. I mean,
okay.
It could happen now, but right now I'm not really seeing anything. A lot of times I'll put it up and I'll look at it from a distance and see if, is there anything that I can see. I mean, I could see a cat face here. Do you want me to go with something? I just see. Should I just go with the cat? Okay. So.
Now my shoe is better.
I'm going to keep the shoes in mind.
Cat in the shoe.
Yeah, cat.
Cat? Oh, I can make a cat
And a shoe
wearing a
instead
shoe.
of a cat in a hat.
I'm going to blow this dry a little bit.
Shoe cat. Shoe cat.
I can see a cat nose right here.
Oh, I see it.
You see it?
Yes, I do.
And I can use this for one of his eyes. Or the, I don't know. So then when I see something like that and I want to start working on it, I will either use just a regular pencil, kind of draw it in, sketch it in a little bit, or I will take, I like to do this because it helps me see. I just take a scruffy old brush. This is a super cheap oil brush, I think. It's just really rough and scruffy, but I like this, it's a neutral gray color, and it's, I just use a very, very little tiny bit. And I just kind of start to go around and kind of etch out my figure instead of using a pencil. I don't exactly know. All I can really see here is the nose. So I've got a nose here. I tend to make long noses, so I'll put an eye up here. Gotta have some ears, I suppose. Something like that. So it's just a rough thing. Maybe I'll give them a moment. So I put this gray here and I don't really want it there, and so baby wipes will take that off. I might take off, see, because I don't have a lot of underpainting on this one, it's just gonna pull the paint off. Whereas if I had another layer of underpainting on here, I would just get the color from under there, which makes it super interesting. That's why I like the layering technique, because you just never know what's going to be. You never know what's underneath there, you know. It's been a while. So anyway, so this is the beginning of a cat, I guess.
Cool. And the shoe. Yeah.
And a shoe.
It's pretty cool.
Maybe I'll put a shoe on his head. Could draw a shoe on his head, maybe. Yeah, probably not.
No.
But anyway. So,
Nice.
so now what I want to do is I just want to get, I'm going to pull the figure forward a little bit by just putting some more background in. That way I can see it better and I can see, if I even have a decent composition. And I'm using just little bits of paint. I'm not using a whole lot. So it can be changed. I like the layers to show through, so I don't really ever cover anything completely up. And this is why I like to not tape it down or anything. I just like to turn it around. Okay. So now I just want to get a little color in the eye. Oops.
Pencil were you using?
Pencil?
Yeah, what were you using for your outlining there?
Oh, this is oh boy, I can't even see it. It's got so much paint on it. It's a 9XXB. It's a really thick lead. I use it a lot for my outlinings. And so you can see right now where I sprayed that ink and it went into the scratches that I had scratched through the paint before. So it's really given me a really cool texture in that eye. I don't know if you can see it from there, but I like it a lot. It's really cool. And I think what I'll do, this is Titan Buff, which is one of my fave I like this color a lot. Just a light off white. But I'm just going to use it in the eyes here just to because I need a little more. Oh, there it is. So I'm smearing because it's wet, which is okay because it's still just a layer, right?